Hi, I'm Muhammed and Hamdan. You're tuning into Nightline, the top stories. Khazanah Nasional to launch National Fund of Funds with 1 billion ringgit allocation. And Hassan American to head PM's News Advisory Committee. Good morning. We begin with this headlining story. Khazanah Nasional Berhad will launch a Malaysian-focused fund with an initial allocation of 1 billion ringgit, dubbed the National Fund of Funds. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the initiative would see investments in innovative, high-growth local companies.
Aiming to centralize investment agencies such as MEFCAP under Penjana Capital under Khazanah. In this regard, I am pleased to share that Khazanah Nasional will launch a National Fund of Funds, a Malaysian-focused fund with an initial 1 billion ringgit allocation to invest in innovative, high-growth companies.
Anwar was speaking during the launch of the KL20 Summit 2024 on Monday. The Prime Minister described the venture that is expected to see up to 3 billion ringgit in the Malaysian and Southeast Asian ecosystem under the ASEAN Investment Initiative as a national fund of funds. Among the other funds that have committed to the venture are Retirement Fund Incorporated, QUAP, and Blue Chip Venture Capital. Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister and Khazanah Chairman, said a total of 25 entities will give a real chance for Malaysia to create cutting-edge technology ventures. Meanwhile, industry players have lauded the announcement made by the Prime Minister. Small and Medium Enterprises Association of Malaysia, Samenta, expressed its strong support for the initiative, emphasizing its potential to generate positive ripple effects throughout the economy.
Of course, we truly welcome this announcement by the Prime Minister of the fund to be administered by Khazanah to benefit innovative businesses, to help them to grow domestically and globally. With this influx of innovative companies coming into Malaysia, I think it would also help the domestic entrepreneurial as well as SME scene, because they help drivers to become more competitive, drivers to become more innovative, and to deepen our economic complexity. What we do ask and hopeful is that Khazanah and as well as this fund will put a lot more focus on domestic SMEs with the capability to grow global, innovative SMEs who are already in many ways having the right product, right technology and so on to export overseas, to give them all the help that we can. So on top of just funding, I think this kind of support is also necessary to help our SMEs, or rather the high-performing SMEs, become a performer and perhaps unicorn in the future.
At the same event, Anwar said that KL20 Summit 2024 is strategically designed to introduce significant reforms aimed at attracting high-quality, high-value investments from across the globe, while concurrently empowering local entrepreneurs to go global and seize emerging opportunities.
Venture capital firms setting up offices and new funds in Kuala Lumpur. The 12 firms announced that today are sophisticated international firms with asset under management sizes above billions and illustrious investment track records, so that good Malaysian startups will be discovered and nurtured to be globally successful.
The Prime Minister noted that the continuing trend of confidence from investors in all parts of the startup ecosystem gives a real chance for Malaysia to create cutting-edge technology ventures. He added that technology has been a societal equalizer and productivity booster, providing jobs and livelihoods that did not exist previously. And later at night, Anwar stressed that Malaysia has gained world attention as a premier investment destination due to its political stability and clear economic policies. Therefore, the Prime Minister called on all parties at all levels to make changes in attitude and mindset to prevent the country from falling behind in various aspects.
Harus kita pusatkan perhatian supaya kita tidak ketinggalan. Jangan kita terus dalam perbahasan hal-hal yang remeh, yang tidak berkesudahan. Tumpu, memanfaatkan waktu mendidik anak-anak kita, memenuhi ruang lapang dengan pendidikan, dengan ilmu, kerana negara memerlukan tenaga baru. Negara memerlukan anak-anak yang mahir dan pakar dalam IT, dalam digital, dalam kejuruteraan, dalam semikonduktor, dan ini semua harus kita siapkan kerana peluang itu terlalu banyak.
Anwar said policies such as the Digital Transformation, National Energy Transition Roadmap and New Industrial Master Plan 2030 are helping investors see the country's strengths. He said Malaysia is now attracting investments from companies such as Infineon, Nvidia and dozens more, which requires the skills of around 30,000 engineers. Therefore, he said the focus of parents and children must be in the fields of science, mathematics and TVET. He was speaking at the Malacca State-level Aidilfitri Madani 2024 celebration at the Malacca International Trade Centre in Air Keroh on Monday night. Also present were Malacca Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Muhammad Ali Rostam, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Chief Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf Yusof. Moving on, the government has established the Policy Advisory Committee to the Prime Minister PMAC to provide advice on national development and economic resilience. In announcing the matter, the Prime Minister's office said former Petronas President and Chief Executive Officer Tan Sri Muhammad Hassan Merican would chair the committee. In a statement, it said the establishment of the committee follows the expiration of the Advisory Committee to the Finance Minister, ACFIN, in February 2024, which Tan Sri Muhammad Hassan Merican also chaired. It added that suggestions put forth by ACFIN have been duly considered, and some of them are in the implementation process. Other members of the body include FVSB Executive Chairman Dr. Ahmad Fuad Mat Ali, Sunway University Economics Professor Dr. Yah Kim Leng, and economist Dr. Nungsari Ahmad Radi. The PMO said the appointed committee members would not receive any remuneration from the government. Now, the government has allocated 400 million ringgit for the maintenance of Rumah Keluarga Angkatan Tentera RKAT nationwide. According to Defence Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin, the money was for the upkeep of 28,808 housing units in 48 camps. During a visiting to RKAT Taman Seruling in Kuala Kubu Baru, Selangor, the minister said that the allocation aligned with the government's commitment to ensuring the welfare of military personnel. He said the government is fully committed to this cause as it deeply appreciates the sacrifices and contributions made by the armed forces in safeguarding the nation's security and sovereignty. RKAT is an affordable housing program from the Armed Forces Fund Board for military personnel and their families. Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdulaziz has written to the High Court seeking its permission to file an affidavit to correct factual errors in another affidavit which claimed that the former Yang di-Pertuan Agong had, in an addendum order, granted house arrest order to former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. The Investment, Trade and Industry Minister sent the letter on Monday via law firm Cecil Abraham and Partners and was addressed to Judge Dato' Amarjit Singh's office. The law firm said it has been instructed by its client to seek leave to file an affidavit to specifically address the averments contained in paragraph 6 of Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's affidavit to support Najib's judicial review application. It stated that there are factual inaccuracies which ought to be corrected pursuant to the inherent jurisdiction of the High Court under Order 92 Rule 4 of the Rules of Court 2012. On April 17th, Zahid, who is also UMNO President, filed an affidavit to support Najib's judicial review application to compel the government to produce the addendum order. The Bagan Datuk Member of Parliament claimed the document was shown to him by Tengku Zafrul at the former's house near Country Heights on January 30th. A Felda oil palm farmer was fined 12,000 ringgit by the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court on Monday for making a threatening post against the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on his Facebook page in August last year. Judge Siti Aminah Ghazali handed down the sentence on 45-year-old Samsuri Ramli after he pleaded guilty to the charge. The court also ordered the accused to serve 6 months in jail if he failed to pay the fine. According to the charge sheet, Samsuri had, with awareness, made a post with pictures stating that the king would be dethroned if he did not remove Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim as the Prime Minister. Samsuri made the posting on August 13th last year at 5:33 p.m, which was read by a complainant in Bukit Bintang at 9 p.m. on the same day. The complainant, who was angry and hurt by the posting, lodged a police report. The charge, framed under Section 233(1)(a) of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, is punishable under Section 233(3) of the same Act. It carries a maximum fine of 50,000 ringgit or imprisonment up to 1 year or both, and shall be further fined 1,000 ringgit for each day the offence is continued after the conviction, if convicted. An old misunderstanding is believed to be the cause that led to a woman splashing hot water on a man with Down syndrome inside the lift of an apartment in Bayan Lepas last Friday. According to Southwest District Police Chief Superintendent Kamarul Rizal Jenal, preliminary investigation showed that the misunderstanding between the two started some 3 to 4 years back.
Siasatan awal kita mendapati punca adalah disebabkan perselisihan faham terhadap mangsa yang telah berlaku dalam 3-4 tahun yang lalu lah. Saya rasa kenal muka lah sebab duduk di kawasan building yang sama. Perselisihan yang agak sensitif lah yang berlaku.
Asked if the woman was suffering from mental issues, Kamarul said she did not appear so, adding that they may ask the court to order further examination on the woman. He added that the police to date have recorded statements from at least 3 people. It was reported that the suspect was detained last Friday, several hours after the hot water splashing incident. She has been remanded until Wednesday for investigation under Section 324 of the Penal Code for voluntarily causing hurt. One man was critically injured while 2 others are in a semi-conscious state following a nitrogen gas blast at a factory in Kota Kemuning on Monday. Selangor Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director of Operations, Ahmad Mukhlis Mokhtar, said they received a distress call about the incident at 10:14 a.m. 12 firemen from the Shah Alam Fire and Rescue Station were rushed to the scene. Checks revealed that the nitrogen gas explosion occurred as the factory workers were conducting a pressure test. The victims of the explosion were 2 men, aged 32 and 64, who were rendered partially conscious, and another man, aged 35, who was critically injured. A special team was also rushed to the scene to rule out any danger in terms of chemicals at the explosion location. Indonesia court rejects presidential election challenges. News from the foreign front when we return.
Menyamar OKU, mengemis simpati.
Tolonglah, aku minta maaf.
Ambil kesempatan kaut hasil lumayan.
Tak beli beri. Orang tak beli tapi bagi duit. Ni duit banyak tu ni.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
On to the foreign front, French President Emmanuel Macron has reaffirmed France's desire to avoid an escalation in the Middle East and to stand up to Iran's efforts to destabilize the region in a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The French presidency said that Macron also reiterated to Netanyahu that France wanted an immediate and lasting ceasefire in Gaza and that France was working on trying to ease tensions from clashes on the border between Israel and Lebanon. The statement came as the Zionist attacks continue across Gaza, with 7 killed in the Nuseirat refugee camp on Monday, just a day after the bombings that killed dozens of people in southern Rafah city. Dozens of Palestinians were also killed and injured when the army fired shells at the area around the Abu Salim Mosque in Deir al-Balah. Meanwhile, head of the Zionist military intelligence, Major General Aharon Haliva, has resigned on Monday, citing the failure to stop Hamas's deadly surprise attack. He became the first senior official to take the blame and step down. In Han Yunis in southern Gaza, medics and doctors were working to repair parts of the damaged Al-Amal hospital in a bid to receive patients again. Staff could be seen moving gurneys and supplies along corridors as they tried to restore services to parts of the hospital.
بداية ما خرجوا القوات الإسرائيلية من حي الأمل بدينا نرجع للمستشفى على أساس إنه نحاول نستصلح الإمكانيات الموجودة عندنا على سبيل نقدر نستقبل أبناء شعبنا المكلوم، نحاول نساعدهم إيش بنقدر في المستشفى هذه، بنحاول طبعا نستدعي الطواقم بتاعتنا قديش نقدر نعمل، وهي زي ما انت شايف الشباب طبعا والممرضين الأطباء يد على يد بنحاول إنه إحنا نستصلح قد ما
An Indonesian court on Monday rejected challenges from both losing candidates seeking a rerun of February's presidential election and the disqualification of winner Prabowo Subianto and his running mate, bringing an end to all election disputes. The Constitutional Court ruled that there was no evidence of systematic fraud and presidential meddling, nor that state bodies, regional officials and social assistants had been mobilized to sway polls. Chief Justice Suhartoyo said the plaintiff's petition has no legal basis in its entirety. He added 5 judges ruled in favor of rejecting both petitions, with 3 dissenting opinions. The Constitutional Court's decisions are final and binding, and both former candidates said they would respect the ruling. Previously, losing candidates Anies Baswedan and Ganjar Pranowo had both separately alleged that there was state interference to favor Defense Minister Prabowo, who won by a huge margin.
Bangga dan apresiasi khususnya kepada 3 hakim konstitusi.
At least 7 people have been killed and 21 others were injured after a race car ploughed into spectators at a motor event in Sri Lanka. The incident took place at Fox Hill Supercross event in Sri Lanka's Dia Talawa town, where more than 45,000 people had gathered to attend the motorsports race. Among the dead were 4 race officials as well as spectators, including an 8-year-old girl. Eyewitnesses reported that the crash happened soon after another car had overturned on the track. Despite efforts to warn drivers and slow down the vehicles, one car veered off course and ploughed into spectators along the unguarded track. Authorities have launched a police investigation into the incident. At least 3 people were killed and 11 others missing on Monday as days of heavy rain caused massive flooding in China's most populous province. Nearly 60,000 people were also evacuated from their homes in Guangdong as rescuers sent to relocate trapped residents and transport food and other materials. Officials said several major rivers have burst their banks and that authorities are closely monitoring dangerously high water levels. The city of Huizhou and provincial capital Guangzhou have also been hit particularly hard, prompting flood alerts and rainstorm warnings for 4 days in a row. Manchester United survive late scare. Sports.
Dia orang tahu suspek ni dia dah dapat. Tapi nak dapatkan dia dengan kes tu susah masa tu.
Polis mengesahkan yap mangsa rogol dan bunuh.
Help me to complete the last puzzle. Siapa penjenayah, dia kena tanggungjawab.
And we're back with sports. Football, the 2024 AFC U23 Asian Cup. Substitute Kim Min-woo scored late as South Korea beat rivals Japan 1-0 in their final Group B match on Monday to seal top spot with maximum points. Shot on target, despite some dangerous-looking forays into the opposing boxes. Substitute Kim headed home the lone goal of the game in the 75th minute, sending the Taegyeok Warriors into the quarterfinals with an unblemished record. South Korea will face Indonesia next in the last 8, while Japan will take on hosts Qatar. Still on football, the English FA Cup, Manchester United survived one of the most astonishing semi-final comebacks ever to beat second-tier Coventry City 4-2 on penalties after the match ended 3-3 after extra time on Sunday. The Red Devils were cruising to a record 20-second final when Scott McTominay tapped home Diogo Dalot's cross in the 23rd minute, with Harry Maguire's thumping header from a corner kick putting United 2-0 ahead on the stroke of half-time. Bruno Fernandes then gave United a comfortable 3-0 lead just before the hour mark, leaving some Coventry's fans stunned. Ellis Sims pulled one back for Coventry in the 71st minute, and suddenly all United's earlier poise evaporated. Things got worse when Callum O'Hare's shot took a freakish deflection and ballooned over goalkeeper Andre Onana into the net 8 minutes later. Coventry kept pressing for equaliser, and Haji Wright blasted home a 95th minute penalty to make it 3-3, taking the game to extra time and penalty shootout. Onana became a hero by saving O'Hare's kick before Rasmus Højlund secured the 4-2 shootout win, sending the Red Devils into the final against Manchester City. The German Bundesliga now. Josip Stanisic scored in stoppage time for champions Bayer Leverkusen to preserve their record unbeaten run with a 1-1 draw away against Borussia Dortmund on Sunday. Leverkusen, who clinched their first ever title last weekend, were heading toward their first defeat when Niklas Füllkrug scored for Dortmund in the 81st minute. The match was about to end when Stanisic headed home Florian Wirtz's corner in the 7th minute of stoppage time stretching the visitors' unbeaten start to the season to 45 games across all competitions. Leverkusen have not won any of their last 4 Bundesliga matches against Dortmund, their longest ongoing winless run against any current top-flight side. The Xabi Alonso's team, which have also reached the German Cup final, will face Roma in the Europa League semi-finals with the first leg in Rome on May 2nd. Coming up, teacher detained for allegedly assaulting colleague. Stay tuned.
Terbaru ditonton.
Selamat datang ke markas Bantuan. KPI kami ni mudah saja. Menangkap saka dan juga menangkap tuan punya saka.
What can I do for you?
Boleh tak Tok Pawang tolong santau bini muda tu?
Ini memang selalu nampak kat TV. Biasa berlakon datuk-datuk kan?
Muat turun dan layan tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda di sini.
Menyamar OKU, mengemis simpati. Ambil kesempatan kaut hasil lumayan.
Tak ada tak beli beli. Orang tak beli tapi bagi duit. Ni duit banyak tu ni.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. A male teacher at a primary school in the Kemaman district in Terengganu who was suspected of assaulting a female colleague has been remanded for 3 days. The 49-year-old suspect was brought to the Kemaman Magistrates Court at 8:30 on Monday morning, where Magistrate Sharifah Amirda Shasha Amir Sharifuddin issued the remand order. The suspect was detained at a teacher's quarters around 9:30 p.m. on Sunday. The man's arrest followed a report made by the victim at the Air Putih police station earlier at 8:20 a.m. The victim, a 32-year-old English teacher, reported being punched and kicked by the suspect in the school cafeteria at around 6:55 a.m., causing the woman to sustain a black eye. The cause of the incident is still under investigation and the case is being investigated under sections 323 and 506 of the Penal Code. And lastly, Malaysian influencer, DJ and film actress Siu Pui Yi has filed a civil suit against her former business partner for allegedly cheating her of 4.3 million ringgit between 2022 and 2023. Better known as Miss Pui Yi, the 25-year-old filed the civil suit online through her lawyer K. Mahendran at the Pulau Pinang High Court.
He's actually my ex-partner of my company for 5 to 6 years, so I trusted him.
Speaking at a press conference at her lawyer's office in Green Hall on Monday, Pui said she initiated the civil action against a 29-year-old man known only as Mentos, who used to be in her company's board of directors and manage investments, payroll and human resources. According to her, the man was asked to settle the firm's tax arrears with the Inland Revenue Board last year. However, she claimed that he absconded without paying the dues. The model, with over 24 million followers on Instagram, claimed she also realized that the man had misappropriated funds from her company PY Empires and Berhad since June 2022. cherry blossom trees, which delighted residents and visitors in Toronto's Hyde Park. Like their famous counterparts in Washington, D.C., the cherry blossom trees were a gift from Japan to the city of Toronto. I'm Muhammed and Hamdan. Thank you for tuning in, and be safe, Malaysia.